All right, good morning or good afternoon, boys and girls, depending on what time of day it is. Once again, um, if you're watching this video, it's because I'm home, most likely with the baby, helping my wife out. So what I ask for you guys is to help me out by really paying very close attention to the video, by asking questions, maybe not just for yourself, but for others in the class, and to re-watch parts of the video that are confusing to you. Okay? The great thing about having the video is you can rewind whenever, you can pause and rewind whenever. After every problem, you are pausing the video to solve it yourself and then unpausing it to learn how and if you got the correct answer. Or the substitute will be doing that up on the screen here. They can show the video up here and pause it to allow you time to solve your problems. You will be solving your problems in Jamboard. Okay, for the lesson 14, there's a questions. It's in a Jamboard. That's where you're going to be solving it. And yes, you can do it on paper, take a picture of each problem, and solve it one at a time and show it up on Jamboard. All right, so lesson 14. In lesson 14, we are determining whether one is dividing by the unit fraction or by the whole number. So we have two different word problems, and you need to figure out, am I going to divide by the unit fraction or by the whole number? So either am I dividing by the fraction or dividing by the whole number? Depends on what I flip. So for question 1, Mr. Brislin drank a 1/4 gallon of chocolate milk each day for 9 days. How much chocolate milk did he drink in all? Okay. He drank 1/4 of a gallon of chocolate milk each day for 9 days. How much chocolate milk did he drink in all? So, ultimately, you need to figure out, is this a problem where I am multiplying or am I dividing? So what's the best strategy? Draw it out. If I have 1/4 of a gallon of chocolate milk each day for 9 days, I need to do that 9 times. Oh, okay. So this must be a multiplication problem. All right. So you're doing 1/4. You could draw it out, and you're doing it 9 times. Okay, 1/4, 9 times. 1/4 times 9. Okay. Now, the first part is you figuring out, is this multiplying or is this dividing? And what am I dividing? The fraction or the whole number? The second part is you actually solving it. So if I were to solve this, I would get 9/4. That's improper. So you divide the 9 by the 4, and that will give you 2 1/4. That was a quick way of me solving that. We know how to solve this, or we should know how to solve these problems. The big focus today is you determining, is this a word problem where I'm multiplying? Am I dividing? And if I'm dividing, what am I dividing by? The fraction or the whole number? So question 2, if 5 friends share 1/3 gallons of milk after school, how much will each friend get to drink? Once again, this is where the picture comes in handy. Okay, so I have 5 friends, but each of them friends are sharing 1/3 gallon. So I'm going to draw 1/3 of a gallon of milk, but they're all sharing that 1/3. So what's happening here? I am dividing. I'm not multiplying, but what am I dividing by? I start off with 1/3, which means the first number should be 1/3. And I'm breaking that 1/3 up into 5 friends. So I'm dividing by the 5. Okay? So The answer here would be C, 1/3 divided by 5. And then I would go ahead and I would solve it. Okay? Now, this is a bad picture, so let me draw a better picture to refresh your memory on how to draw this picture, which you just did yesterday. So here's a third. This whole gallon is broken up into thirds. Okay, here's your third right here. I'm breaking it up into 5 friends. If I break this up into 5, I need to break this up into 5. I need to break this third up into 5. To figure out how much is one, so I want to know how much will each friend get. So how much will this one friend get? They get 1/15. Sorry, that's my son. Jude, please go sit down. Thank you. All right, so now, how do you use the KCF here? Remember, K, C, F. You keep the 1/3, you change the multiplication, and you flip the 5 to 1/5. And then you solve. All right, let's go to question 3 now. Remember, the first step you want to figure out here is whether you are multiplying or dividing. And if you're dividing, what are you dividing by? Are you dividing by the half, or are you dividing by the whole? Okay, I'm going to pause. I'm going to have you just determine right now, what are you doing? Multiplying, dividing, and what you're dividing by. Then I'll have you unpause it, and I'll explain to you what you actually are doing. Now, my best recommendation right now is to draw the picture out of what's happening in the story to help you figure out whether you're multiplying or whether you're dividing, and if you're dividing, what are you dividing by? Then I'll have you unpause the video to see if you're correct. Okay, so in a 3-mile race, there are Gatorade stops every half mile. So I want to know how many Gatorade stops there are in this 3-mile race. So I drew, in this case, I drew a number line. You could draw a rectangle. I could close this off and make it into a rectangle. Okay, I numbered the rectangle from 0 to 3. 0 miles, 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. Okay, and then I broke them up. 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. But every half mile, there is a water stop. Okay, I'm sorry, a Gatorade stop. How many Gatorade stops are there? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Which of these is going to help me figure that out? Multiplying? Well, first off, you can visually see how many Gatorade stops there are. Okay, there's 6. Which of these is going to help me figure that out? Okay, that's your next stop, next thing to do. I'm going to hit the pause button for you to figure out which of these, and then solve it to make sure you get the answer of 6. Okay, so if you decided B was what you had to do, you do 3, K, C, F. 3, you change it to multiplication, and you flip the 1/2 to 2. Is that going to give you 6? Yep. Which is why B would be the answer here. Okay, C is not the answer because I would keep the 1/2, I would change the multiplication, and I would flip the 3 to 1/3, giving me an answer of 1/6 stops. Does that make sense for what I'm trying to solve? How many Gatorade stops there are? Oh, there's 1/6 stop? That's not even a thing, right? Make sure your answer makes sense. Here's a strategy to do that. You write, there are blank stops. Does my answer make sense for me to say, if I were to write this in a sentence, there are 1/6 stops? No, it doesn't make sense. So, if you just so happen to accidentally get 1/6 originally with this, then You know you made a mistake. And then you also want to write this in a sentence to see if your answer makes sense. Now this does make sense to say that there are 6 stops. There are 6 stops. And I can visually see that with my picture. So let's move on to question 4. Same concept. If 8 teachers share 1/4 of a pack of paper, how much of the pack will each teacher receive? Draw it out to figure out which expression you're solving for. Hit the pause button to do that now. So here's the picture you should have come up with. If 8 teachers share 1/4 of a pack of paper, okay, how much? They're only sharing this pack right here, this part right here. That's it. They're sharing that. And 8 of them are sharing that. So I want to know how much will each teacher get. Each teacher is going to get that piece right there. What is that piece? What's 1/32 of a pack? Which of these expressions is going to help you get that answer? Well, multiplying. If I multiply, am I going to get 1/4 times 8? Is that going to give me 1/32? If I 8 divided by 1/4, if I were to keep the 8, change the multiplication, flip to 4, is that going to give me 1/32? Or is 1/4, keep the 4th, 1/4, change the multiplication, flip to 1/8? Is that going to give me 1/32? Okay? Select your answer now. Okay, so hopefully you figured out the answer here is C. Let's move on to the next question. Now, if we're running short on time here, please take the time to go to the exit ticket. If the substitute feels like we're running short on time, please go ahead and do that. This one's going to be a doozy. This will be a tough one to figure out here. Okay, Mr. Brisland has 2 boards. One board is 4 feet, and the other board is 5 feet. He uses all the boards to cut 1/3 of a foot pieces. Over the pieces, 1/3 of a foot pieces. How many pieces can Mr. Brisland make with all of this? Hit the pause button to figure out what the answer is by drawing and then coming up with the expression. And then finally coming up with the answer. Okay, so the hard part about this problem was you had 2 boards, a 4-foot board and a 5-foot board. So I put them next to each other. The second hard piece of this is making sure you broke them up into different feet. You'd recognize if you put the 2 boards next to each other, you have 9 feet. Third thing you had to do was break up each foot into thirds, right? It says they're breaking it up into thirds. How many pieces can Mr. Brisland make? So how many pieces do I have here all together? Which expression is going to give me that? I'm going to give you a hint. It's not multiplying. So am I going to do 1/3 divided by 9 to figure out how many pieces I have here? Or 9 divided by 1/3 to figure out how many pieces I have here? I'm going to hit the pause button for you to determine that now. Okay, so the correct expression would be 9 divided by 1/3. 9 divided by 1/3, when I flip the 1/3, you get 3. 9 times 3 will give you 27 pieces, the answer being D. All right, so at this time you have 2 exit ticket questions. I want you to figure out which expressions you get for each problem, and then take the time to solve each problem. Thank you for your awesome participation, and please take your time and put forth your best effort. Thank you, boys and girls. Bye.